Okay, Coach, here we are. Bengals training camp. I hear you're very competitive. How's it going with the hoop and the weight room?
I spent a lot of time in the off season being competitive, and I kind of put it on the back burner during the season. But you're right, we all have a lot of staff competitions around here: pickleball, basketball, whatever we can do to stay. We're all former players that weren't good enough, so we got to find our ways to stay competitive.
I was told to ask you about your record with the hoops, to let you brag a little bit, Coach.
Have
your
have the world record in all the competitions. So not much more needs to be said. Others can speak for me, but world record in all the events.
I love that. I'm so curious. I feel like you're running a very balanced camp. It's very well thought out. It's very obvious just walking through the halls. Everyone's sort of happy, and the vibe is really high. How close have you been to getting out there in these quarterback drills as competitive as you are?
No, I can't do that. These guys are infinitely better than I ever was, and but it does give me the ability to admire kind of how they go about their work, and I think they're such pros and think through things that I had never thought of as a player to work on their game and make sure they're at their top. And so again, we got a really good football team full of character. Our quarterbacks are great examples of that.
2006 Big 12 Player of the Year, Nebraska. No, you don't want to get out there. I mean, I see Press doing it all the time.
Yeah, Press is more athletic than I am. Those days have passed me.
Can you define player friendly, which is something that you've been described as?
I like to communicate with the players. I like to know their opinion on things. It doesn't mean that we're going to do it that way. I want them to understand the intent of why we're doing it. So that can lead to player friendly when they just have an understanding of why we're doing this, why we're asking a lot of you today, why we're going to cut back tomorrow. I think that can be perceived as player friendly, but really I just want all the information to be able to make the decisions.
A lot's being made of it being Joe Burrow's second healthy camp, that you have, fans. I'm talking to them walking through Cincinnati last night, media, of course. How big of a deal is it? Do we put too much value on it, or knowing what you didn't have these other years and now, you have him out there, he's healthy? How valuable is it?
Well, I mean, he didn't practice in August last year and really not in August the year before. And we've started with divisional opponents the last 2 years, really good defenses. And so it's certainly an advantage for him to be able to get out there and form some chemistry with the offensive guys. But, he's always found a way to get himself up to speed as quickly as possible. And he's got his own system he follows, and it's worked well for him.
It's a nice demeanor you have about you when we start talking about Joe Burrow. You're sort of perk up, Coach.
It makes me happy.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of people happy. Your kids, did they dye their hair like him, I heard?
One of them did.
One of them. Did he ask your permission? How did that go?
He went through my wife. I gave my blessing. I could sense that was going to be the trend around town. And 7th grade, he's in training camp himself. What's the big deal? So, about 7 or 8 of his friends did it.
Outside of the hair, developmentally, whether it's as a leader in the locker room, skill level, how is he evolving?
I think he understands, the role he plays on this team and the significance and his impact and everything he says to anybody is impactful. And that wields a lot of power, and you got to use that the right way, and he has. I mean, he's just really never misses with anything, any message he gives to a young receiver or the offense or the team in general or the fan base. He's just he just always has a knack for saying the right, genuine thing that isn't forced, isn't unnatural. It just is him, and it's always why I say he's a national champion, #1 pick, Heisman Trophy winner. That's just the way it goes.
He certainly is. I hear he has said he's used that voice, that genuine, honest voice, to say he wants to play in the preseason. You have a gig that I don't envy, having to decide how much or yes or no or when. Can you just take me into your decision process? What are the things that are going through your head when deciding that?
Well, I mean, for years he and I have had this conversation for years now, and it's always been trending towards let's play him. Not that I've said that publicly, but when he's not playing, then are you going to play this other guy? And then are you going to play this other guy? And this is what happened to the Rams in 2018. It was I think Whitworth was out, and so we didn't play golf, and so then we didn't play anybody, and so there always one thing leads to another. Right now, we have a healthy quarterback that we've always intended to play in the preseason, and so we'll find the right way to do it. And certainly, there's protection that's involved in that, calling stuff that's going to keep guys out of harm's way. But I think it's good for everybody to get out there in the huddle, under the lights, in front of a stadium, no coaches on the field. It's just the 11 guys in the huddle. I think that element is important.
But I would love to know more about that. Like, what is the value of a few snaps versus what would be the risk?
Well, for one, the way the schedule falls, there's a lot of dead time, particularly between the third game and the first regular season game. The schedule's really changed, and we're playing on a Thursday night that week. And so there's a lot of things that factor in. You want guys to get the work, and pregame warm-ups is significant, and to get 10 to 20 reps on the field, who knows? Could be 5, could be 25. You never know how it's going to play out, but I think that's impactful for your team. Last year, our defense played, I believe, 17 snaps against the Falcons. It was one drive, 17 play drive, and they were gassed afterwards. And it was a good wake-up call that, hey, we got some work to do to get ready for the regular season because of the way that the excitement hits you in a preseason game. You're just out there, and how you got to react. You got no help. You're not being coached up. There's not guys on the sideline or behind you. It's a whole different atmosphere, and I think it does help you get ready for week 1.
So Joe will play.
I intend for Joe to play.
Love to hear that. As we look at other things that are going on your team, offensive line seems to be something that I'm very excited about. Is there a position group that you think isn't getting enough love? Do you want to? I know you love everybody, Coach, but
I think our running backs aren't getting enough love.
I said that, yeah.
I think those guys are doing a good job. They're really smart. They understand what we're trying to get out of the position. I think if you look at Chase and Zach, they complement each other really well. I could brag on the safety position. I could brag on a lot of different positions that I feel really good about. So, again, it's just I'm excited to watch our team go compete.
I saw Jamar Chase in the hallway, got to say hi to him. He was sort of warm, sweaty from a workout. He's here in the building. He's smiling. Loved seeing him. What does it say about Jamar Chase? That things are getting worked out, but he's here, and I'm sure he's affecting that wide receiver room. You've got Mike Gesicki here, teaching him chemistry, how to, do whatever. Like, what does it mean to you that Jamar is here?
Jamar affects the chemistry on the team in a positive way. When your star player has the energy and the enthusiasm that he does, whether he's just out there with the ball cap on or in the meeting rooms or in the locker room, Jamar has an effect on the team that's genuinely positive. And again, I think he wields that the right way and can really sway the mood of the locker room, and I appreciate that. And so he and I are on the same page, and he's easy to communicate with.
Coach, who deserves the credit for the buy-in from Chase Higgins saying, all right, I'm going to be here, business schmizness. I know I can win here. Who deserves the credit for that?
I think the locker room deserves credit. It doesn't happen overnight. It's something that takes years to get to what you want, to where the locker room can sway situations in a positive manner. I think Troy Walters deserves a lot of credit, our receiver coach. He's the best receiver coach in football. He played the position. He knows what these guys are going through. He's got a great relationship. He's very demanding of them. And I think that he does a good job of giving them great insight and coaching and tough love. And I feel like they appreciate that. I
think it's because they know they're going to win. They can win here. That's what it is. When I look at it and I say, if I'm T, come what may, future, whatever, I know what this year, present, right now, I can win here. And that doesn't exist everywhere else. And a lot of that has to do with you, of course. A lot of that has to do with Joe Burrow. I wanted to talk to you just about my favorite play, my favorite moment with you. Can I give it to you? I have the specifics here. 2022 at home against KC, remember? It was 2-minute warning, 3rd and 11. And we could have run the ball, kicked a field goal, whatever. You go for the throat. Joe hits T, first down, game is over. I want to know, I remember so clearly watching this. What were you thinking in that moment?
You got to go for it. I mean, these aren't situations you make in the moment.
Yeah.
These are situations you made days before. And you factor into who's the other team's quarterback. That factors in. And, if you choose to kick a field goal and give him the ball back, he can throw the ball 75 yards down the field to Tyreek Hill. And if you get a bogus DPI call, then the game's over. It's a field goal. And so when you got guys that are capable, you factor that in. It has nothing to do with our defense and the faith we have in them. It just has to do with when you've seen a guy do it over and over and over, and we feel like we've got that guy, then it affects the decisions. And you trust our guys. We're given a very simple play call that our guys have repped a million times. And when the game's on the line, our guys are going to execute it. And Joe and T did, and the protection held up, and you're able to win the game.
I'm on this training camp tour, and everyone keeps asking, what's the storyline in the NFL? And I said, it's very simple. Keep that man in Kansas City from three-peating. Keep them from doing it. Do you see it that way? Do you see it more of, you don't? Tell me.
It's about us. I mean, it's what we control. It starts with our division. We've got a tough division that garners a lot of respect from the entire world. And our focus is on getting through our division on top. And that creates the best path to see who you're going to see in the playoffs, where you want to see them. And so it starts with that. And again, we just need to focus on ourselves. We don't need to be worried about Kansas City or any of the divisional teams or anything like that. And I think our team understands that because they've been to the top. They've seen it. They know what it's like to get to the championships and Super Bowl. And so they know it doesn't do us a lot of good to talk about everybody else. Let's just focus on ourselves, and that's the best path.
I never met your new OC. Not new to you, of course, but new to some people. What do I need to know about him as far as his identity, I guess, aggressive nature?
Yeah, Dan, tremendous personality, tremendous energy, incredibly smart, much smarter than me. I mean, that's where I'm fortunate is I've got a lot of coaches on the staff that make me look good because they know what the heck they're doing and they put people in the right position and give me great guidance. And so you just got to continue to empower guys like Dan Pitcher to do their job. And he's tremendous. The whole world will know who he is because of the job that he does and will continue to do. His personality, the way he affects other coaches and players and affects our team. And, he'll be a head coach sooner rather than later. And then we'll have to prepare for life after him.
Does this camp feel different? Last one for you. Does this camp feel different than some of the others?
Yeah, I can't compare. It's every year is just so different. And so, yeah, it is different because your team is different. So you're focused on how's this group going to evolve and is this guy going to step up? And so the way the games fall on different dates affects your practices. And so it does feel different for not reasons you're asking me, just because I think that's just the nature of every year being a little bit different.
I know you like pickleball. If you had to pick one person on this roster to partner with in pickleball.
Joey Bose.
Sorry?
Joey Bose.
Okay, why? That was a quick answer. Why?
Because we've already proven what happens when we're partners. Yeah.
You're so competitive. I love this. Listen, I hope this ends up with you in some local bar somewhere that you're not even comfortable or wanting to be in. I just hope that that's what happens for you, Coach.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable in bars, period. So every bar I'm in, I'm uncomfortable. Yeah,
that's what I hear. But you got to take the trophies there. We got to get this thing, and I hope that you fulfill all your goals this year. Thanks for sitting down with me.
Awesome, appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach Zach Taylor. We'll be back after this with Joe Burrow. What should I ask him? I'm so nervous. I've never met him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have fun. Yeah.
Have fun, he says. We'll be back.